This video will focus on Chapter 4, Section 4. And before we get too far along, what I'd like you to do is look at the following 6 problems and try to solve the inequality and graph them out. Whenever you're finished, press play. Alright, so that should have been enough time for you to kind of go through and try these out. Let's see what your answers are. So in this case, x is less than 3, so you should have your line, your number line. At 3, but you can open circle and then it goes to the left, right, towards 0, and so on for all of these. So what we're doing today is how could you use an inequality to describe the dimensions of a figure. So let's look at this figure right here. And it says you want to find the values of x so that the area of the rectangle is more than 22 square units. Well, the first thing that we have to do is figure out the area. And we're going to go through here and set it up as 4. And then we'll say times x plus 3. And then, of course, we want it to be more than, right, 22, right? So it's not equal to, it's got to be more than. You'll look at here and you'll notice that none of these examples here have this. They don't look the same. So I'm going to have to go through and distribute. So let's distribute this. So it's 4 times x, which is 4x. And then 4 times positive 3, which is positive 12. And then that's all going to be greater than 22. So I look up here and I look for the one that will work, and it looks like it'll be the first one. So that would be what I'd use here. You want to find the values of x so that the perimeter of the rectangle is greater than or equal to 28. So let's draw this one out. Now this is perimeter, not area. So we're going to go through. It will say 4 plus 4 plus x plus 3 plus x plus 3. And then it's going to be greater than or equal to. So greater than or equal to 28. Now again, none of this doesn't look like any of these here. I have to combine like terms. So remember, this is like 1x, and this is an x, 1x. So I'm going to have 2x plus I have 4 plus 6, which is 10. So plus 10 is greater than or equal to 28. So if I look here, I have, oh, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. 4 plus 4 is 8 plus 6. Wow, is 14. So I should have 2x plus 14 is greater than or equal to 28. So if I look here, I'm going to have this third one will be the right answer. For this one here, I'm going to go through and it says that it wants to have a value so the area of the parallelogram is fewer than 41 square inches. Well, the way to figure out the area of a parallelogram is to take my 5 times y plus 7, and then that's all going to be less than, fewer than 41. So I have to go through and distribute. So I'll say 5 times y, which is 5y, and then 5 times positive 7 is plus 35, and then that's all less than 41. If I look here, I have this value right here, so the second one. Next one is talking about the trapezoid, and it says the area of the trapezoid. So to figure out the area of the trapezoid here, and I'm going to go through, and I know that I'm going to do just first the rectangular thing here, so that will be z times 10 plus, and this is going to be 10 times 6 divided by 2, right? So I'll say 10 times 6 divided by 2. And then this whole thing, and this was a z before, right? Let's put a z up here so I know this is z. And that's all going to be at most, so less than or equal to 100. So now I have to go through and start distributing things. So I'm going to first of all go through, and 10 times 6 is 60, divided by 2 is 30. So this is now 30. And I'll say plus 10 times z. So I'm going to have 10z plus 30 is less than or equal to 100. If I look here, 10z plus 30 is less than or equal to 100. It's this one right. You want to find values so the volume of the rectangular prism is at least. So it can be more, but it has to be at least 50 cubic meters. So I have to go through here and do 5 times 3 times x plus 2, right? And that's going to be greater than or equal to 50. So now I have to distribute things through. So this will be 3x plus 6, and then I have to multiply all that. So now I'll have 15x plus 30 is greater than or equal to 50, the third one. All right, and the last one we're going to do is this one right here. And it says you want to find the x value so the volume of a rectangular prism is no more. So at most, it'll be 36. So it's got to be smaller, right? So I'm going to do the same thing I did before, where I take 4 times 2x plus 1, and then I'm going to multiply all of that. And you can do any order you want here, but I'll say times 4.5. Basically, just to multiply all three of these things together. So this will become 8x plus 4. And I have to multiply all that by 4.5. And so if I take, let's just go here real fast. And let's do 4.5 times 8. And that'll equal 36. X plus, and then 4.5 times 4 should be 18. Yep, so plus 18. And I want it to be no more, so less than or equal to 36. So if I look here, is there any that say that? 36x plus 18 is less. Yep, this last one here. So that's really what we're doing today, and we're going to go through now and try to solve a few more. So I want you to go through and try to solve this, so press pause and solve it. Alright, so hopefully you went through and tried to graph this out and everything, and the first thing you notice is you had to add 4 and then divide by 5. And so I get x is greater than or equal to 3. And it looks like this. So I have to make my closed circle at 3, and it goes to the right. This one here, I'm going to first of all go through and I'm going to subtract 4, so I'll have my 9. Remember, I'm going to then divide by or multiply by negative 3. So that will flip the sign. So I'll have b is greater than negative 3. I'm sorry, first I have to go subtract, so that would be 9. Oh, times 3, so it'd be 27. So b is greater than negative 27. So I put the open circle at negative 27, and it will be greater than, so it goes to the right. Try doing this one here. So first of all, you're going to add 7 to both sides. When I do that, I get 12. And then I'm going to divide by 6, so it'll be y is greater than 6. Y is greater than 2. And then go through these. And look at how they're graphed out. Again, realize that if it's an open circle because there's no line underneath, or a closed circle because there is a line underneath, by this time you should kind of be getting to understand why this is the case. This one here says, which graph represents this solution? So I have negative 7x plus negative 21, and then I'm not sure what this is right here. Oh, it looks like it is less than or equal to 28. So let's start going through and solving this one. So I'm going to start off by just having negative 7x. Let's use a different color. All right, so I'll do negative 7x, and then plus or minus 21 is less than or equal to 28. Of course, I'll add 21. So now I have negative 7x is less than or equal to 49. I'm going to multiply by 1 over negative 7 on both sides. Remember, when I do that, I have to flip the sign, right? So I'm going to have x is greater than or equal to negative 7. So I have to look up here. First of all, negative 7 is what I want to be at, and I want it to be a closed circle, and I want it to be greater than. So it looks like letter B will be the one that I'm looking for. Notice that this one's close, but it's positive 7. I want negative. The answer is B here. So this one says that a contestant in a weight loss competition wants to lose an average of at least 8 pounds per month during a 5-month period. All right, so let's look at that for a second. How many pounds must a contestant lose in the 5th month to meet the goal? So at least 8 pounds per month. So here we go. If I look at it, we're doing 5 months. And let's just really quickly figure this out. If I have 12, I want to add all these up. So I have 12 plus 9 plus 5 plus 8. And when I do this, if I just take these two here, I get 20. And then these two here, I get 14. So far, this contestant has lost a total of 34 pounds, which is great. Now it says, how many pounds must a contestant lose in the 5th month? Well, if it's 8 pounds per month for 5 months, let's just figure out what the total number should be. It's 8 pounds for 5 months, right? So how much would that be? 8 times 5 is 40. So far, she has 34. She has to leave or lose at least. So x has got to be greater than or equal to what number? And the answer is 6. And the reason why is because 34 plus 6 equals 40. And that's the number I need to get. So I have an average of 8 pounds for every month. Not sure why this is doing this today, but I go through kind of the same steps I did before. I'm not sure. All right, keep doing this. And it has the same answer that I had here. So x has got to be greater than or equal to 6. So here's the last one I want you to do. It just says solve and graph this inequality. So all that I'm doing is I'm first of all going through and I'm just distributing. And I'll just write down the answer so that way we can move on. So this one here would just be if I have 2 and then k minus 5 and then is less than 6. So that would be 2k. And then that'd be minus 10 is less than 6. I would add 6 or add 10. Add 10. Again, I'm drawing my line, right? And now I have 2k is 16. I would do my multiplicative inverse. And then I have k is less than 8. And let's just plug it in and see if that makes sense, you know? So I plug in an 8 right here. 8 minus 5 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 is not less than 6, you know, but I'm not saying that it is 8. I'm saying it's everything that's less than 8. That's what this says. So this absolutely works. And that